Are we live? Everybody, welcome back to the show. It's your boy Trip.
And I'm Lucas.
Welcome back to another episode of All in a Day's Work. This is our second live stream on YouTube. We're going to try it out for the first, or really just do the whole show for our live streams now on YouTube. So please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and do all that good stuff on us. That way you can check us out, see our videos on Facebook, see our videos on Instagram, on TikTok. TikTok,
yeah, guys.
Facebook, all that good stuff. So
we got a TikTok. Subscribe. We got a TikTok, so go be sure to check that out.
Yeah, check out the TikTok. We're still learning TikToks, so just be aware. We're amateurs at TikTok. All right. I mean, we're amateurs 100% away, but
I don't know. You spend a lot of time on it, so
on TikTok,
yeah.
It's so addicting, dude. I cannot stop. And I hate it. That's what I hate about TikTok. Not the fact that it's kind of cheesy, but honestly, I think for me is the I go there for one thing. Like my daughter will send me a video, right? And it'll be something quick, 15 seconds, quick little video. It's funny. And then it just switches to another video, something I'm already interested in. And it just keeps me dragging. Next thing I know, I'm on there for 45 fucking minutes. And then, well, you know how that is. So
I don't know how that is, but
it's exactly what you would think. You're going down the rabbit hole, the TikTok rabbit hole. It's exactly that.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you would think. That's all I'm going to say. It's exactly that.
And that's one of the reasons why I'll never get TikTok. I got too much.
You have to get TikTok.
No.
It's part of the. You know how like certain jobs, like when you was working at the Big Blue.
Yeah.
It was like you have to have Big Blue. Remember? It's going to be part of our mandate requirement here at All in a Day's Work. You have to have a TikTok.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to put in my exemption for that. Cause that
exemption? Are we allowed to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are we?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah,
How do you know?
Well.
Sorry, I'm not trying to ignore you either. I was trying to find that link that you had so I could post it on my page too, but it's being stupid for some reason. It's being funny.
Well, I think I'm in your boat. They flagged one of my posts.
Did they really?
Yeah,
already?
Yeah. Well, so I posted something about George Washington, right, in the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
And they flagged it for partly partly false information.
What did it say?
Something about this. Here, let me pull it up.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
How are they gonna say it's partly false information? They weren't around when George Washington was around.
Yeah,
how they gonna say that?
Watch this shit.
Anyways, while he's looking that up, everybody, I want to leave you guys with a comment of the day. This here is for coping with PTSD. So it's just a quick little blurb I'm going to throw out there for you guys. Just something to think about when dealing with individuals who either have PTSD or and a lot more people have it than we think about. But this is just food for thought in dealing with anybody with mental illness or PTSD in general. So the thought goes, mental pain is less traumatic than physical pain, but it is more common and also more hard to bear. Think about that for a second. When you're dealing with anybody that has mental health issues or PTSD and are coping with it, just understand that it could be a lot harder to bear than you would think, either a physical injury or pain, something like that. It's just because it's going on inside of your head. If you're not good mentally, you're not going to be good physically.
Absolutely.
Just something to think about.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was a good way to kind of start this topic off when we're talking about the military in general and PTSD and who's a traitor and who's not, and how that has to do. And the reason I always tie this into, how does that affect our mental capacity, our mentals? How does that affect us as soldiers or former soldiers when we see these types of things, like what's going on with General Milley or what's going on in just the military in general and how they're treating their soldiers and things like that. And it kind of makes you think, that has to do a lot. Like, it takes a lot on a person's mentals.
Yeah. It really does. It really does. Just everything that's going on right now, right? It's mentally straining, as an understatement for sure. But we can't stress mental health enough, especially in times like that we're currently living in with the pandemic, and things are constantly getting shut down, and then not knowing whether or not your school is going to have in-person learning. Huh?
Can you hear us in the headset? Yeah, I can't hear us either. That's interesting. Can y'all hear us? If you guys can hear, we should probably ask that first. If you guys can hear us and we're coming in loud and clear, please let us know, because For some reason, our audio went out in our headset. I just want to make sure you guys can still hear us. Weird. The audio is out in the headset. Can you pull up on the... No, on the program? Make sure it's on the output. In the advanced. Monitor and output for both of ours. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I can't.
Wonder why it's not playing back. Well, fuck it. We ain't gonna figure it out. I'm gonna take it off then. We'll figure it out later when we do the recording and whatnot. It doesn't matter. Anyways, everybody, again, we want to welcome you guys to the show. If you guys are watching, hanging out here with us on YouTube, I know it's kind of early on your Friday. Hopefully, you're on your lunch break or getting off your lunch break, getting ready to get off of work, depending on where you're from. I don't really know because guys are from all over the world. And you can watch this anytime. So
yeah, absolutely, and that's the great thing about technology. You don't have to be right there in the moment watching us. You can always save it, watch us later.
That's true. I mean, you're welcome to watch this later. I hope you do. I would hope that you do, but you know.
But now let's get to our topic at hand.
Yeah, the topic at hand. Let's go ahead and talk about it.
Alrighty, you guys read our headline. All right, there's a lot of talk going on right now. So if you guys haven't heard or been in the dark, living in a cave, whatnot, General Milley made that phone call to China.
Made a phone call, huh?
Right, saying that, hey, if anything happens with the last administration in charge, I will let you know. Right, and he received a lot of rightful backlash, at least in my opinion, right, for doing that. That seems like a willful act of being a traitor.
I mean, I would agree. I mean, you're literally letting our nation's enemy, not necessarily enemy, but biggest threat. No, hey, if anything this last administration is about to do that's funky, that might impact you, I'm going to let you know first and foremost so you can prepare and plan. It almost seems like, all right, so with that, the limits to where that can lead to are almost it's unimaginable. Mm-hmm. The way I think about it, because it's like, all right, look, we're gonna let you know if we're gonna do anything, right? Which therefore means that China could prepare, mm-hmm. right? And then therefore we lose lives on our hand because they know we're coming. Or let's just say when they know something's happening, we could lose American lives. So it's like, all right, I know we're going to lose lives, but I'm going to tell you what we're going to do first and foremost so you can be prepared and ready to take over. That's
not even that. Like, let's think about...
Possibilities are endless.
Well, let's just think about it like this. If you learned from somebody in a different...
organization?
Military. Okay. Say, hey, we're going to attack you. Be prepared. If you as like, hey, I just got word that you're gonna attack me, I'm gonna hit you first.
Oh, no doubt. Not only that, I'm gonna hit you first. I'm gonna hit you really hard.
I'm gonna hit you really hard,
so you understand.
Yeah.
Well, you ain't gonna get me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be me or you. And at the end of the day, when it comes to war, and I'm not saying that we're in war with China. I'm not saying that we should go. That's not what I'm here to say. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, if it were to happen, and they had, prior knowledge of us, or an advanced knowledge that, hey, we're about to do something, that's quite concerning.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite. And what's more concerning to me is that nothing's going to happen to them. They're not like what they talked to the Senate. What, for 2 days? He talked to the Senate. I think it was.
I don't know.
And what are they? What's going to be the outcome of that? Or is it just going to get swept under the rug like everything else? The big wigs decide to do, it's going to get swept under the rug.
Mm-hmm. I really think so. Like,
and yet my man Lieutenant Colonel gets the brig for how long?
He was in the brig for what, 2 weeks, I believe, and
that's a goddamn shame.
Yeah, and just for speaking out, saying that there needs to be some accountability for what happened with the Afghanistan withdrawal, which I believe everybody that's rational and logical understands that withdrawal was completely messed up. Right, there was a lot of things that happened that didn't need to happen.
Well, who really is the traitor then? That's the question, right?
Yeah, that's exactly. But not only was he in the brig for 2 weeks, but now, from what I understand, they're charging him with 6 different crimes.
Do you know what those crimes are? Did you ever find out what they were?
The article.
Can you look that up and see what the crimes were? Was it Lieutenant Colonel Scheller?
Yeah.
They're trying to charge him with 6 different crimes or something like that. Could you look that up?
The article I read, and I believe I read it either yesterday or the day before, it said that they was charging him with 6 different crimes, and it didn't say what those were.
Wow.
But the
6 different crimes all of a sudden just because he spoke up and said that people need to be held accountable for
absolutely
their actions.
And let's just break this down, all right?
Yeah.
So if you guys haven't seen his video that he made, he's in uniform. He lists his name, his rank, and goes through his whole spiel about the Afghanistan withdrawal, right?
Yeah. Okay, so, can I stop you right there just for a second?
Yeah.
Lieutenant Colonel Scheller, yeah. That is where I do have a problem with how the message was put out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I'm sure, just like B. Tatum talked about before on this, I'm sure I'll catch backlash for this. But hear me out, YouTube. Hear me out, world. Before you start hating, just understand where I'm coming from. Okay? I'm going to paint a pretty picture for you so you get a full understanding of what I'm about to say. When you volunteer for the military, to join the military, you understand that there are certain rules and regulations that you have to abide by, that you don't get to negotiate either this way or that way. You understand that. Mm-hmm. And one of the very first things that they tell you in the military is, wearing this uniform, you are representing the military in the United States of America. You are not to be on either this side or that side while in uniform displaying your personal viewpoints. Okay? So, they're not saying that you can't completely speak out against what's happening or stand up for what you believe in with your free speech rights. They're saying that you cannot do so on either a side or the other in uniform. And to some degree, speaking out publicly against your leaders and criticizing them while in uniform, while addressing your rank, it's like, it's almost, because it can be perceived as, hey, look, some of the top brass in the military are standing up against for what's going on, and that's how coups get started. So you have to understand the severity of what that could lead to.
No, absolutely, and I'm 100% with you on that.
So there has to be some accountability held there for him
I
being
agree.
in uniform. I will say that.
Yeah, absolutely, and on that point, I completely agree.
But I don't disagree with what he was saying.
No, absolutely.
I just want to make that clear.
Absolutely, and in that part, I'm 100% agree with you. Everybody that's in the military knows that if you're in uniform,
and that's any uniform job, you shouldn't be representing. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you.
I do that. Go ahead.
Thank you. So if you're in a uniform, in particular a military uniform, you're not allowed to make a political opinion. You're not allowed to say anything like that.
Yeah.
Right. Calling for accountability, in my personal opinion, doesn't violate that, but the fact that he did so publicly on a public platform while in uniform, I think that's where his big mistake was made.
Well, he was criticizing the leaders and their choices in uniform, so that that could be.
Yeah, like I said, if he was honestly, if he would have did it in his not in his uniform, in his civilian clothes, I'd have been perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a matter of fact, I'm perfectly fine with what he did right now in his uniform.
I mean,
but
Personally,
yeah,
I am too. I don't care. That's the least of my worries. But professionally, I understand where the military and UCMJ can come into play in this situation.
Absolutely.
And again, I'm not. It's not my situation I'm dealing with, because obviously, like, this is a man's life we're talking about that could be completely tarnished depending on what the charges are and how they stick.
Absolutely.
Right? Did we ever find out what those charges were?
So, like you said, as the rules stand right now, he's not allowed to make that kind of a public opinion, voicing his concerns while in uniform, and he should be held accountable for that. But what he said still has validity. He still has made very valid points.
Yeah,
that there should be action towards.
I think what they're going to do is try to cover up the validity of what he was saying, and throw those 6 charges at him to try to make it loud and he was so bad, he's being charged with this, and his word doesn't matter, you shouldn't be listening to him.
Yeah,
they're going to try to discredit him. Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's exactly what they're going to try to do, and that's a damn shame.
Yeah.
So this article, go ahead and say what you're going to say. She sent me the article from this is from Stars and Stripes.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, read it.
Okay, so this is from Stars and Stripes. This came out on October 6th. This is by Corey Dickstein. That's his name, Corey Dickstein. He wrote the article for Stars and Stripes. Then the headline reads, Fired Marine Commander Scheller charged with 6 crimes faces court-martial. Holy hell. Marine Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller Jr. will face misdemeanor-level special court-martial on 6 charges filed by the Marine Corps this week related to public admonishing of American officials handling the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. Service officials announced on Wednesday. So, yeah, 6 crimes. What are they? Scheller, whose special media posts, blah 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 blah. I want to see what the charges are.
Yeah.
By disrespecting superior commissioned.
So while he does that, I just want to get my
go ahead.
opinion
I'm going
out
to
here.
find out exactly what those 6 charges were.
All right. And for those of you that have been with us from the start, we've been doing this for about a year and a half now. I said very early on that I didn't agree with public statements regarding personal opinions if you hold any sort of influence, and I stand by that. If you are wearing a uniform, if you are you are operating in the duties of your company, I don't think you need to be making a personal statement on that your feelings are based off of. For example, if you are a professional athlete, if you are a celebrity and you are working and then somebody asks you about your personal opinion, then I don't think that you are.
Well,
I'm not going to say that you shouldn't be allowed to talk about your personal opinions, but I think that personal things should stay personal.
It doesn't go into the exact 6 charges.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to figure it out.
So
This goes into the actual article. I'm going to, like, what it feels, how he feels about this whole thing and all this. But we'll post the article down in the link if you can throw that in there, Kate, throw the article for them to see. It's actually an interesting article. And again, that's from Stars and Stripes, which is a military paper. So
it's crazy that they don't list the charges.
Yeah, I mean, it said 6 charges, and then it just kind of goes into, Uniform Code of Military Justice, Article 89, disrespecting Superior Commission, Okay, so those are the articles. It looks like they're going to charge him. Okay, here we go. He's accused of violating Uniform Code of Military Justice, Article 88, by displaying contempt toward officials. Article 89, by disrespecting Superior Commissioned officers. Article 90, by willfully disobeying a superior commission officer. Article 92, by dereliction in his performance of duties and failure to obey an order or regulation. Article 133, by displaying conduct unbecoming of an officer and gentleman. Wait, what?
So
wait a minute. They can charge you with the article by displaying conduct unbecoming of an officer or a gentleman?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
So after he made that, from what I understand, he made
that was only 5, right?
Yeah, that was only 5.
Hey, where's the 6th one then?
So from what I understand, after he made that first post, they told him not to be posting anything on top of that.
Okay.
After that, he went and posted another video about that.
After they told him.
After that, gag order.
So that was the direct.
Really? So that's what they got.
That's where they're going to charge him with?
Yeah. Because I do remember hearing about that.
How many times you told a soldier, "Hey man, don't post some bullshit," then they go and post some other crazy shit?
Yeah. How many times have you as a soldier questioned your leadership? I'm just saying that's kind of part of the process.
A special court martial limits.
Then especially with something as big as this that cost Americans their lives and left Americans stranded, there should be questions involved. Should it have been done so publicly? In my personal opinion, no. But it was done publicly, and he was very valid in the stuff that he was saying.
Well, I guess that brings up the question, like we titled this episode: who's really the traitor?
Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. Somebody that's asking legit questions about the leadership and if anything is going to happen to these guys for their absolute abysmal withdrawal of Afghanistan, this 20-year war that cost us billions and trillions of dollars.
Where 13 troops were killed.
That's just at the end of it. How many troops have lost their life in the course of this war? How many people? God. How many people's lives were affected? How much billions of dollars was spent on this war? And that's not even counting the $83 billion worth of equipment that we just left there.
83, how much?
Billion.
Yeah, that's with the B, everybody. Yeah. That's with the B.
So like it's stuff like this that really needs answers to. And how much of that $83 billion worth of equipment could we have used to use that money instead of purchasing that equipment and leaving it there, which is completely wasteful? Have used that to help the service members that we have here back in America.
You see, I only saw 5 charges on here, so if there's a 6th one, maybe you guys can find it and let us know. But either way, those 5, that seems like some petty shit to me. But at the end of the day, I do see why the government would do this. But it's just it's crazy to me how they're gonna come after this guy so hard for something that didn't have an impact at all. It really did. Other than us talking about it, it really has not sparked any kind of behavior on anybody's end. So nothing has really happened, but they're going to charge this man, and yet General Milley, who just had to sit in front of the Senate for doing some legit treason, and nothing's happening. Well, no one's talking about it. Nothing's happening to him.
Not even just the fact that he made this phone call. Let's talk about that drone strike.
Let's talk about
the fact that, what was it, 10 people lost their lives, and 7 of them were kids. From what
7 innocent kids,
like no older than 10.
The man that they killed was in it. The man that they were tracking was innocent.
Yeah, and nothing is gonna happen. Not a word. Let's put this also into perspective. If you was a deployed soldier and you killed 10 people that happened to be innocent,
get the.
Am I lying?
If it was one person, one innocent person, you talk about 10.
Yeah.
We're talk about 10 people, and they was kids.
Another battalion.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine the hell that you would go through?
Yeah, absolutely. I got an Article 15 when I was deployed for throwing a water bottle over a truck and supposedly breaking a windshield. Now we're talking about 10 people losing their lives, 7 of which are kids.
Wait a minute, they gave you an article for throwing a water bottle?
Yeah.
Get the
fuck out. We'll go into that story later, but the only thing I want to bring up is, like, if this would have been a soldier on the ground, boots on ground, and he killed 10 people because he thought that they were insurgents, they were terrorists, they're trying to attack us.
And so that brings up a good question, dude. What's the difference?
There is no difference, in my opinion. Innocent people lost their life. Somebody needs to be held accountable.
Who authorized the strike?
That's ultimately who needs to be held accountable. Who said that, hey, this strike's a go?
Whoever authorized the strike should be held accountable.
Absolutely.
It's that simple. And it's not, well, we were tracking, we had intel and this. Okay, well, guess what? Your intel was wrong. And you authorized the strike. You need to be held accountable.
Yes,
it's cut and dry.
Absolutely.
There's no if and or but about it.
100%.
Because again, like you just said, if this was a soldier or a cop, imagine if a cop just went rogue and killed 10 fucking people. Imagine. Imagine.
But yeah, all that stuff is getting swept up under the rug. I haven't even heard anything about it in the last couple of weeks.
Here's what I want to know. Could you just imagine this, like a mass murder, right? Because mass murder could be, what is it, like 3 or more people? Or something like that? Or a mass shooting?
Yeah.
Considered?
Yeah, I think it's like 3 or 4 more people.
Right? So just imagine some guy walks in, and I'm not condoning this, and I absolutely do not think that anybody should be shooting up anything at all. But just imagine some crazy asshole decide to blow up 10 people. 10 people, 7 of which were kids.
Well, you heard about that school shooter that got released on a $75,000 bond the day after he shot up the school, right?
The one in Texas?
I don't.
Was that the most recent one?
Yeah, I thought it was in Tennessee.
It
might have been in Texas.
There was one in Texas the other day.
Yeah, I think it might have been in Texas.
Just out of control. And
yeah.
I don't understand. Like, now I get it. It's Afghanistan, and there are a lot of people, and I'm sure that they would say this behind closed doors and not publicly because they don't want to be racist.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't care because, oh, well, they're Afghanis or whatever. They don't care, right? But the reality is those were children. Those were innocent people that just got obliterated. They didn't even have a chance. Imagine, dude, could you imagine just going on about your daily business and all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
Get taken out by a fucking rocket and then...
Well, from what I understand, this dude was like delivering water and food and stuff to kids.
Right. Like
this dude was doing good things. And
no one's going to talk about what happened. And we're probably not even going to be public with this video because we're criticizing it. That right there is another thing. That's what I want to talk about, Lucas, is this fact that this criticism, we can be criticized for speaking out a bit against how things are currently going and de-shamed or defamed, deplatformed, demonetized, all of that, right? just for having an opinion that goes against how they feel. And this is a prime example of how either the mainstream media can manipulate what really goes on in America.
Yeah, that's 100% honest. I truly believe that the media is 65% of the cause of everything that America is going through right now.
I think it's going to be even worse if you really think about it, because they're not even allowing your opinion to come out. They only want their opinion to shape the way things are going. So like it's almost like they're almost solely responsible.
I was being very conservative in my 65%.
Oh, okay. Don't do that.
So I truly believe, like, are there division? Is there division in the United States? Absolutely. Is there racism in the United States? Absolutely. Are there terrorists in the United States? I truly believe there are. I really do. But
you're not a terrorist if you speak out against what's going on right now.
Absolutely. Like, I just saw this other thing about these moms in Virginia. They was criticizing CRT being taught in the schools, and
I saw that.
Yeah, and I think it was the Attorney General. He said that they're going to be looking into these parents for opposing CRT as potential domestic terrorists.
Yeah, and apparently that's supposedly a thing now. If you speak out against CRT being taught in public schools, then you can be labeled or marked down as a domestic terror threat. Are you kidding me?
Like these are parents that don't want their kids being taught certain things.
Well, that's the thing. Let the parents teach them that. There's no reason the schools should be teaching that.
First of all, the parents, they're sending their kids to these schools for them to get a good education, right? The parents should have a say-so in what the school system is teaching.
I've been saying that for the longest time.
Absolutely. Like, I don't have kids, but I'm truly fearful for the next generation if parents aren't even allowed to have a say-so in what their kids are being taught.
You'd be surprised how little you get a say-so as a parent. You really would. You would think that you would have a lot more say-so in like what your kids are learning, how often, and whatnot. You don't get a say. You really don't. You really don't, because you can go to the school board meetings and whatnot as if your voice matters, but at the end of the day, they're going to do what they want to do because for some reason, they have that power.
That makes no sense to me. That makes no sense.
They're just people too. I've been talking about this for a long time. The entire school system needs to be restructured because
100% agree.
We're just allowing other people to teach our kids, but we don't we don't pay the educators what they're worth, first and foremost.
Agreed.
Okay, being an educator, especially to the youth, has to be one of the most important jobs in this damn country. You're literally molding little babies and kids, develop them into constructive members of society and learning basic things. And yet we're going to utilize that platform to teach them critical race theory. Now, when I was in school, CRT wasn't a thing. We did, however, learn about what the civil rights movement and what happened with slavery in the country and all that to a certain degree. But it was real vague, and we moved on and went on with the rest of our history as a country, right? And I understand why it was done that way, and I don't think it needs to keep going deeper and deeper and deeper, because all we're doing is breeding continued racism.
I agree with that. It's one thing to learn about your country's past. It's a whole nother thing to say, hey, we are where we are because this particular group is bad.
Yeah.
Right.
When you're blaming little Timmy, who is 7 years old, and you're telling Timmy that he's the reason that there's a problem of racism in this country just because Timmy's born white, that's a freaking problem.
Absolutely.
That's not okay.
Absolutely.
And at no point should that even be discussed in the schools, because Timmy doesn't know racism unless he's taught racism.
Yeah, you're ruining innocent kids' lives. Honestly, in my personal opinion, you're literally teaching kids to hate people based on race, and I thought that's what we were trying to get away from.
Well, yeah, but the only way you can actually stop racism is by stop talking about it.
I 100% agree with that. I've always agreed with that.
At this point, we've tried everything else.
Yeah, we've
tried everything else. We need to just let it go. Stop talking about it. Stop being here's how you truly end racism. There's two things. This will, and I promise this is about to blow your mind. Promise you. The two things that will end racism in America. Number one, stop talking about it. Number two, stop being a dick. Simple as that.
How about we bring back that golden rule? Treat everybody as you want to be treated.
Imagine that.
How about that? Like,
If you're not a dick, you're not going to treat somebody different based on their color.
absolutely. Or if you're just,
It's pretty fucking simple.
or I mean, if you are a dick, just be a dick to everybody equally.
Yeah. Just look.
Yeah, no.
That's how you end racism. Don't be a dick.
No. Or be a dick to everybody. No. I agree with you. I think that we need to start teaching people more compassion. I don't think that we need to be teaching people to look down or hate people based on certain traits that they cannot change.
Look, man.
I.e., their skin color.
And that's just it, bro. Like, you're born a certain, like, you. First of all, none of us asked to be on this earth. Like, I didn't ask to be born.
You
know what I'm saying? I did not ask to be put here and dealt with this bullshit. Like, I did not ask to be here. I did not ask to be black. I did not ask to, you know what I mean? It just happened. This is just what was happening. The idea that you're more superior than me based on a certain trait such as skin color is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me.
Absolutely ridiculous.
No,
Considering, like,
I don't think you being a certain color will make you better than anybody else. I really don't. I think there are genetic factors that make you
different
than everybody else.
Absolutely. You can't deny genetics. You can't
absolutely.
deny science.
But I think you having a certain skin color is going to get you ahead in life. I don't believe. I think the most important privilege, and I use that in quotation marks, that you can have is economic privilege. If your parents are well off, then you are going to be well off. That's the only privilege I believe
there
in.
is an economic privilege, but there is, or not, there doesn't have to be, but there has been at certain advantages and disadvantages to people based on skin color. And we cannot dismiss that.
Yeah,
there has been a lot of it.
I do agree there has been, but I don't think that's so much the case in today's society.
Not as much.
I really
not
don't.
As much. No,
I really don't.
It's really not. I don't think it's as much as where it needs to be taught in schools is CRT. That's what I don't think it's really that as big of an issue like people are saying. Not in today's world. It was there. Like you said earlier, there are racist people. There are dicks. There are assholes. There's people everywhere that are going to do stupid things and evil things. There are bad people in this world.
But bad people isn't restricted to a racial group.
Thank you. Say it again. Say that again.
Bad people isn't restricted to a racial group. They're not restricted to a religious group. They're not restricted to any group in particular. There are bad people across the spectrum.
They're restricted to just being bad people.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a bad person, as a poor person, you're going to be a bad person if you happen to be rich. That's just how it is.
You're just a bad person.
You're just a bad person. And that's just how it is. You know, and it's stupid of us for to.
Well, we like to put people into boxes and categories.
Yeah. Well, it's stupid of us as a society is to try and boil down that group of bad people into one, like you said, particular box, because that's just not how it is.
Yeah, we like to throw labels on everything. Though.
Yeah, and
either
that's
this
another
or
thing.
that.
That's another thing. We as a free people. We want to get away from labels, right?
Talk to me about being free as a people.
I mean, in America, we're supposed to be free.
Are
we're
we?
the freest country in the world. We were allowed to say what we want. Well, we was allowed to say what we wanted to say when we wanted to say it. We was allowed to carry guns when we wanted to.
Let's talk freedom, Lucas. Let's talk freedom.
We can't do that. We'll be terrorists. We'll be traitors if we talk about freedom.
So if we talk about actual freedom, we become domestic
Yeah,
terrorists.
we have to be censored. We have to self-censor ourselves
in our discussion about freedom.
Yes.
But that's not very free.
No, not even. Crazy how that works, right?
Wait a minute. And on that note, I think that's a good time to end the live stream before we get canceled.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you guys for joining us in on our short little video. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, like we said at the beginning, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Don't forget to go to our website, allinadays.com. Donate. We have a donation button.
Donut. You said donut.
Yeah, we want donuts too. So
no,
if you
we
guys
don't
want
donuts.
donate some donuts. That'd be fantastic.
Donations. We got the donation platform on there for you guys on the website. There's links down here in the description, so please go ahead and check those out down below. Again, share this video. Join the conversation. Leave us some comments down below. Tell us what you think. And on that note, we're officially
signing off.
This has been an All Days Work special. Take care, everybody. Till you next time.
Later.